Hello, the internet. It's Saturday. Well, Sunday. And if this interaction seems familiar to you, you'll probably be able to guess that I'm about to talk about The Fault in Our Stars. So, it's 3 in the morning. I just got back from seeing The Fault in Our Stars, based on a novel by John Green. Uh, was a big fan of the book, in part because I was already a fan of John Green. At the time that I first got introduced to the book, I knew him mostly as the mental floss guy, but since then I've actually started really watching all the videos on the various channels that he and his brother Hank have been doing on YouTube, which are really interesting things. Totally different from what the book's like. It's mostly what they're doing is educational material. Meanwhile, this book is young adult fiction about kids with cancer falling in love. Weirdly enough, did not see this movie as a date movie because that is not very romantic. The structure of the book is a first-person narrative from the perspective of the main character, Hazel Grace, and the movie does not do a crazy amount of voiceovers, which is good in that it gives us more show don't tell, but it's bad in that we spend a lot of time just rushing by events that were really deeply broken down and analyzed in our head, but we don't see that process happening here. The movie is good, but it definitely is brisk. It's not a short movie, but by any means, but it is definitely a quick one from start to finish in terms of like plot points. Particularly, I thought this was a little weak on the front end. I would have liked to see more of the interaction between Hazel and Augustus as they first become friends, which they kind of rush into all of a sudden they're pretty much dating. Either they say they're just friends, but they're pretty much dating. I think everyone was really well visualized. There's no one that really stood out as being dramatically different from how I interpreted them when I read the book. I think it all looked great. Shailene Woodley first popped up on my radar a year ago when I saw The Spectacular Now, which is a movie I really liked. A lot of my friends hated it, but I thought it was really good and felt in the same kind of genre of like young adult material. Who plays Augustus Waters? It was almost a little too pretty, a little too perfect, but that's how he's written in the book too. So it's hard to really get mad about that. I mean, all in all, this is a really faithful adaptation. There's nothing that really stands out as being distinctly different aside from, like, smoothing a couple details. But it just stood out as being a really fine, pretty good adaptation. In the end, I would say definitely check out the book first. It's a much deeper experience. And if you're gonna watch or read something that's really about making you cry because it's so freaking sad. So freaking sad. You might as well get the full, depth of the sorrow and sadness. Regardless, good movie. I'd say this is probably a 3. If I'm going off the Vash and Justin scale, it's definitely in the 3 category. It's a very Netflixable movie. I don't know if I would recommend seeing this in theaters unless you are already going to. I mean, if you've read the book and love it, by all means. If you want to come into the experience and don't want to read the book, this is a rental. I would wait a little bit. Internet, I'll see you on Tuesday.